WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany, tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have a single cask. This is Irish whiskey. This is 20 years old, and it was a complete maturation in an ex-rum cask. Ooh. This is called the Hotel Essener Hof since 1883, single malt Irish whiskey, the Astra Theatre Collection, historic series number 14. So this is bottle number 156 of 223 bottles. So this is single cask, 223 bottles, 52.6%, whiskey base number 136. Can't read my writing. 139472. And this cost 179 euros. Now, for those of us that are used to Irish whiskey prices, you're going to go, hey, that's not bad. For those of you used to bourbon prices, at least the old bourbon price, you're going to go, what? 179 euros. So this was actually bottled by Rum Cask. It's an independent whiskey and wine shop in Düsseldorf, as well as Essen, which is a city here close to where I live in the Ruhr Valley in Germany. And what they do is they actually have contacts to Jack Teeling, and from his own private selection, it says here in the back, it's all in German, by the way. He says here, this is a bottling from the stock, the private stock of Jack Teeling. So, distilled on the 24th of June, 1998. What were you doing back then? I was playing with my children, probably on the floor. They were back then 3 and 5. Wow, 3 and 6 is actually how old they were. And this was then bottled on they're not 28 and 25, my kids, by the way. They're now, and it was bottled on the 31st of May, 2019. That was cask number 10821. Good. I'm going to compare it to something I've actually done a video about recently. This is so-called the second series now from Rum Cask. It's called Lichtburg. You can see here you have a picture of a cinema. And over here, you also have a picture of what the cinema looks like down below. And this is actually a real hotel where they have a little tiny cinema inside the hotel. And they do a lot of art and a lot of, they used to do it before Corona, at least, let's say that. They used to do a lot of films and foreign language films and all those things, yeah? So they have a real thing. What I really didn't like is this one statement. I'm going to read this here. Back then, as well as today, films outside of the mainstream are shown. This offer, especially for the further development of the art of cinema or cinematic art, and also the appreciation in the times for Netflix and co. are maybe even more important than ever. I'm going to go, boo. Now, I'm sorry, but I like my Netflix. I've watched more interesting independent films on Netflix than I would have ever, and I'm talking about ever have gone to see in a cinema. And that was even before Corona happened or COVID. South Korean independent films, American independent films, Swedish, Scandinavian independent films, even from Africa and from South America. I've seen independent films on Netflix, which I would never even had known existed if it were not for Netflix. Thank you, Netflix. My personal opinion. I am not someone who has ever gone to these classic films in the cinema. Shame on me. I'm someone who went back then with my family and my boys to the classic Transformers and what were they called? Avengers and things like that. And if the Star Wars film came out, I would watch it in the cinema. But otherwise, I'm one of these dumb couch potatoes that watch things online. I've had a computer since I've been 8 years old. This is 42 years now that I've been doing this, basically. And I just lived in the digital world all my life. And so why should I bash on Netflix and co. and say, hey, the real art history is in the cinemas? Okay, enough ranting, enough raving, all right? But he said that, at least the label says that, and so I'm really bad about keeping my own opinion to myself. All right, now the whiskey itself, this so-called historic series from the Hotel Essener Hof, these bottles are now legendary. They had some 27-year-old juice. They had a couple different bottlings of 24. They've been matured in various different casks. It's been port, it's been sherry, it's been bourbon, it's been Calvados, it's been all these different things. Now we have a rum cask. This over here was actually matured in 15 years in a Armagnac cask. This is 99 euros, this is 179 euros. This is 5 years older, this is rum, and this is, of course, as I just meant, a type of cognac, which is called Armagnac. Now, to be very, very honest, I love this bottle. This hits all my sweet spots. This is wonderfully in my wheelhouse. I don't know why, but this is one of the bottles where I'm just going to go, wow. Every time I drink it, I just sit back and I go, that's the way whiskey should be. So this bottle is going to have a very, very, very tough job, a tough time trying to keep up with this. Question of the day. First question of the day. What were rum casks before they were rum casks? Well, maybe some of you got it right. Bourbon casks. Yay! So the bourbon industry does not just supply the Scotch industry, the Irish industry, as well as some other industries, but also the rum industry with a lot of their barrels. Who would have known? And so what this basically was before it became a rum cask, it was a bourbon cask, and it was a rum cask. I do not know how many times it was used. Once, twice, 20 times, who knows? And then they put Irish whiskey in that cask. So where that rum cask came from, was it Barbados? Was it, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? It doesn't say. And so this is 20 years full maturation. When I knows it, to be very, very honest, if you'd give this to me blind and say, hey, Jason, smell, what is it? I would go, okay, that's rum. I have no point at all of reference to say this is whiskey on the nose, especially in the very first moments here. This is rum. This is just a rum. Very nice rum. There's a little bit of a sweetness in there. There's a little bit of floral moment. There's a tiny little bit of an oak moment there. But there's a lot of rum in here. At least rum aromas. So over here, wait a second. Going to try to neutralize my nose. I don't know why, but I just like Armagnac. I'm going to have to experiment more with Armagnac. I really like that. I like cognac, but I've had only a few Armagnacs, and they've been awesome. So who knows? Maybe that's my secret weapon for the future here. Beautiful, beautiful. And in both of these, we're talking 57.5, and we're talking here 52.6, no alcohol burn. All right, 15 years old, 20 years old, wonderfully done. So, cheers. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm. Ew. Oh, I don't like the finish. Now, it says actually in the back here, green walnuts. Have you tried green walnuts? I think they're nasty. I would never put green walnuts anywhere on I'd put walnuts, but I'd never put green walnuts. But they actually had the courage to put that on the label, and that's what I get a little bit towards the end. So it's like, oh, looky there, that's a nice little whiskey. Oh, I'm chewing on some sugar cane. Oh, look, there's a lot of tannins in here, and oh no, it's green walnuts. That's the story I'm getting here. Is this a great whiskey? No. Is this a bad whiskey? No. Is this an okay whiskey? Yes. Now, those green walnuts and a little bit of the tannins that are involved in here and so on, if I dilute this down to under 40%, around 35, 38, maybe even 40%, I get rid of those green walnuts a little bit, and it actually turns into a fairly decent whiskey. But this is almost 179 euros is for me a price tag where I'm kind of going, ouch. Yeah, and so I drive a used car. It's 10 years old. It's got 80,000 miles on it. It's just an A to B type of vehicle, all right? I'm happy with it. Everyone's happy with it. It runs. Now, if I bought a very, very fine, let's say I bought a Cadillac, brand new, and my car has a few scratches on it. who cares? Yeah. If I buy a 50 euro whiskey and it has a little bit of not perfectness in there and so on, okay, I can live with it. But if I'm buying a 179 euro whiskey, I want this thing to be pristine. And for some reason, I don't have the feeling that this is pristine. I'm going to give this whiskey a solid C. Almost a C minus, but it's a solid C. There's nothing really wrong with it, but it's just not up to my level of expectations. Value for money, D minus. Yeah, imagine you had your pristine new car and there were a couple scratches on that, and the dealer said, well, okay, that's the way things are. You're going to go, no. And that's the way I'm with this bottle. It's just too expensive to have not a wow moment. And there was no wow moment at all in the tasting of this whiskey. On the contrary, when I come over to Lichtburg, also here a single cask. This is one of 532 bottles. Yay, I've owned 4 of these. Wait, that's not even right. I have 5. Okay, I got 2 sitting around. I have 1 bunkered, and I have 2 I've shared. So yes, a total of 5. All right. So I like this one. All right. So you notice. Hmm. 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 Ah. And the interesting thing is the finish is actually better than the mouthfeel at the origin. Mm. Okay, this is the wow moment. This is what I want. If I'm paying 100 plus euros for whiskey, it should talk to me. It should tell me the story. It should massage my tongue and make me feel happy. And this does that job. This kind of makes me wish I hadn't bought it for that price. If it would have been 59 euros or 79 euros, maybe. Even that is a little bit too much. But 179 euros, it's just like, oh, wow. Sorry. Luckily, I have a group of people where I share the whiskey with, and they have actually bought 5 CL samples or 10 CL samples, so this bottle has actually been shared. And that's very, 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 very good for me because I would have been very angry had I bought this bottle, opened it up, poured a glass, and went, oh no, I'm going to have to drink this with my buddies, and that for that much money, ooh. But hey, I have 5 CL, I can live with that and get rid of the rest as a little sample bottle as well, and just say thank you and maybe reinvest the money in something like this. WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany, with the question of the day, the second one. What rum cask finished or matured whiskey do you prefer? What whiskey with rum cask finish or maturation do you prefer? Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, tell others, and also don't forget to hit that bell. All the best. See you soon. WhiskyJason. Bye-bye.